If Deku had All for All, Part 2. Where I left off, Izuku was just supposedly killed in an explosion. At least that's what all his teachers and classmates thought. In reality, Izuku planted those explosions, exploded everything, but put a force field around one person's room, being Toro Hagakure's room. He then put the trigger to the bombs inside her room, planting it there, and basically causing her to be framed. Now, after this, Izuku is kind of confused now. Where does he go? He really basically has almost no life skills. He was thrown into Tartarus at the age of 4 and has never really known what to do outside of prison. So Izuku starts to rob food stores and banks. But the reports are very confusing towards the heroes. The heroes are wondering, why does it say money keeps going missing? And why does it keep saying food keeps disappearing? Clothes keep disappearing? I'm so confused. Izuku would constantly go to abandoned houses or houses that have not been sold yet and sleep there but invisible, so if anyone came in the middle of the night, he'd be invisible and they wouldn't be able to see him. Basically, his invisible quirk is basically like a ghost quirk. He can go completely invisible, you can't touch him, you can't do anything basically. Now, Izuku would continue to do this until he remembered something. He doesn't like villains, he doesn't like heroes. What's in between? A vigilante. He wants to ruin All Might's life and All for One, and he should probably do All for One and All Might at the same time because they're both pretty powerful. So it makes sense for him to do it at the exact same time and not waste his power doing one and then be weaker for the other. So Izuku waited for the moment he'd stop crimes but also commit them. This would end up giving him the name 50-50. 50-50 being 50% hero, 50% villain. Basically, he'd wear like a mask with a black coat or robe type thing, and he would go around, steal things, but also stop criminals, which this would end up making people like him and also hate him. But they do end up figuring out that maybe this is just the price he pays because every time he stops a villain, he ends up robbing somebody for just a little bit amount of food. So they think, could this possibly be the price they pay for his service and not giving him money? As Izuku has stopped robbing banks and only robs food stores and clothes stores for the basic needs. He doesn't really need money when he goes house surfing that are practically no one uses. So that's when the people call him 50-50. Now, Izuku died, supposedly, to the eyes of the heroes right before the UA sports festival. Izuku decides to watch it as he ends up seeing something into the future. It's kind of like Spidey senses, basically. It's just a random quirk that if he senses something's about to go wrong, he can see into the future just like maybe a couple hours and see what's going to happen. As Izuku sees that an attack is going to happen on the sports festival. Izuku starts to prepare as he sees how many enemies are going to be there. He sees that 10 Nomus are going to be there, and they're basically the same power as the one in the USJ. Izuku thinks nothing of that as All Might defeated the Nomu in the USJ very quickly, just killing it by slamming a punch into its brain. But Izuku still leaves an anonymous tip saying that 10 Nomus and tons of villains are going to be raiding the USJ, or not the USJ, the sports festival, and trying to kill as many people and young heroes as possible. So UA takes it into their hands and puts tons of heroes there as well. Now, once the UA Sports Festival starts, all the events go as planned until it's the final match, Bakugo versus Todoroki. Right in the middle of their match, when both of them are on the ground, they immediately get handcuffed in some electric prison type thing, as hundreds of villains and Nomus drop down and start to attack random people. As Shigaraki walks up to Bakugo and Todoroki and puts a collar around their neck. Once the collar is around, the force field around them, or like the electric prison, stops as Shigaraki presses a button, forcing both Bakugo and Todoroki to go knocked out. After that, the heroes, seeing that the anonymous tip was correct, all jump down and start fighting the villains as quick as possible. People are throwing bombs, exploding everywhere. It's complete chaos. The Nomus end up defeating a good chunk of heroes, as All Might and Endeavor are left to destroy the other Nomus, as Endeavor found out that killing the Nomus was pretty easy with fire, the same way he did in the Stain arc. So that all continues to happen as Izuku continues to look around and just watch. As he sees all the villains being knocked out, he decides to play a game with some of the older heroes as Izuku creates a huge cloud that is completely black. Izuku sends the cloud down and collects the villains' corks, not killing them, but knocking them out instead. All the older heroes look on to see this black cloud, only something they have experienced once before. This is when Aizawa says, "What? I thought he was dead. His ashes were there in the explosion, in the ruins." As Izuku steps down from the top of the stadium and says, "Well, Aizawa, you clearly were wrong. And now I will kill everybody here with a useful cork, starting with these measly villains." As Izuku snaps and an even bigger black cloud appears as it starts going down and sucking the life force of the villains away, taking their corks with it and giving it to Izuku. As Izuku just says, "No wonder these guys are all low-level thugs. Their corks are absolute crap." Well, that doesn't matter. It's all up to you now. As a purple portal appears, as Izuku says, "Well, that's kind of convenient. I didn't expect something to happen." As All For One steps through and immediately points a finger at Izuku with a red laser going straight towards Izuku, as Izuku narrowly dodges it and says, "Whoa, that wasn't very nice." As everyone just looks at him and says, "How many people did you just kill? Hundreds of them. And you're saying that's not nice?" Izuku just says, "Why are you worrying about me? He's the one that's more powerful." As the heroes are just looking at Izuku like he's a complete idiot, and then All Might sees All For One, the person who killed his master, the Knight of Death, the Black Death. They named this power that Izuku has the Black Death. If you get in even close to this cloud, you're dead. Life force is gone. Unless Izuku makes a significantly weaker one called the Gray Death, which doesn't really kill them, it just takes their cork, leaving them corkless. Now, Izuku doesn't really do anything else. He watches as All Might and All For One continue to fight, as Izuku just laughs, says, "Wow, that's really, really pathetic." You two are both on your last legs of life. And now your life shall be ended. And with one snap, Izuku made it two clouds of pure darkness as they go and envelop All Might and All for One, instantly killing both of them, taking their quirks. Izuku now feels the power of lots of All for One's quirks, including immortality. Izuku just laughs and says, "So this is what the Hero Society has finally become." That's sad. Really sad. No matter. This will all be ended pretty shortly. With another snap, Izuku takes out most of the other villains and heroes that are surrounding there, leaving only Class 1B and Class 1A. As Izuku just walks down to them and says, "You should be grateful. You all have been spared. Your innocent minds have not been tampered with." As Izuku puts a hand out to one of them as they flinch, Izuku just says, "You shouldn't be scared. It's really not that bad. Technically, I saved all of you from the brainwashing you were about to get. UA has been brainwashing kids for the past 10 years, brainwashing them into the ideals of a hero. It's truly pathetic that they needed to do that. They've brainwashed, tricked the entire society. And if you think I'm lying, follow me." As Izuku walks as the rest of Class 1A and B follow. Once they do, they get to the 1A dormitories, where Izuku lifts up a hatch to see a giant satellite. As Izuku says, "This thing's connected to something in space that sends waves down to everybody that says how nice heroes are, when in reality they're money-hungry millionaires that don't care about the other population. That's why I saved you all. You are in the earliest stages of brainwashing. The only reason I was not brainwashed is because of a quirk that basically makes me immune to that. And if you're thinking, why did somebody like Shinso get brainwashed? Well, he didn't. He had no clue, and he died. All because of his quirk. They didn't put him into Class 1A when he could have become a good hero because his quirk wouldn't brainwash him. They only chose people that had powerful quirks but could be brainwashed. As Class 1A just looks at him, it's like, everything you've been told, it's just a lie? Izuku goes down and crouches down, touching the satellite. This is bad. If we remove it from everybody's lives, the villains will surely take over, make society chaos. We have to leave it on and become heroes. Become things that have lied to us, changed our viewpoints. We have to become them to save this world." Class 1A and B are completely shocked. They now are the protectors of the society. They are now becoming heroes. Izuku walks up to one person that was not in Class 1A or 1B that he saved. The one person in Class 1H, Mei Hatsume. He walks up to her and says, "Can you change this machine to make it so they all think we're heroes?" It surely makes sense. As she says yes right away, and she goes ahead and changes the device to make it so that they are now heroes in the eyes of society. They walk out as Izuku says, "Go back into the UA building. We have to get our hero suits. We may not have been trained, but without All for One, the villain population is surely dwindled. The one person we need to defeat is Overhaul. He's a pure villain. who just wants nothing but quirks to be removed. I can easily beat him, but he can also easily defeat me by shooting me with a quirk erasing bullet. That's why we have to send you. I'll be tasked with saving the girl named Eerie that he's captured and enslaved to become the quirk erasing bullet using her blood. As the whole class is completely shocked, they go and get their hero costumes and start to look for Overhaul's base. In the eyes of society now, they are heroes and have been heroes for over a year, when in reality have not even been heroes for more than 10 minutes. Izuku being categorized as the number 1 hero, and if you're wondering what happened to Bakugo and Todoroki with the collars, nothing happened. Izuku easily took them off. Shigaraki was killed along with the other villains, leaving very little villain population left. As Izuku tasked many different people to go to the poor neighborhoods and basically try and boost society up without having to use the mind control, so then they can end up getting rid of it. They find Overhaul as the fight was vicious and Overhaul was able to shoot one person, this person being Mirio, but with the help of Eerie, had the effect erased, and now he has his quirk back once again. If you're wondering what happened to Class 2A, 2B, and 3A and 3B, they were also spared. I just forgot about them. So, Izuku ends up becoming the number 1 hero, and that is actually where this story ends. There's nothing more to use in this mini-series. It was 2 very long videos when this very easily could have become around a 4 to 5 part video if I made it a 10-minute video, but I do like these shorter but longer videos. So yeah, thank you all for watching this series. Thank you all for watching once again, and goodbye.